Param Shanti. Today we would be covering a very important topic, that is the spiritual science. We have observed that science and spirituality are correlated frequently. Therefore, the discussion between Bapuji and his son Anand talking about visible science and its limitation would be covered in this session. Also, the link of the same would be added below for those viewers who understand Hindi and can see the Bapuji's video directly. Bapuji discussed science and spiritual science. Science, as we know, involves the use of gross elements or matter. Even the instruments used by science are made up of physical gross material. Therefore, they deal with the gross matter only. For example, cameras and telescopes can see only the physical material world. Camera take the pictures or the images of the material physical objects. They cannot see or take the pictures of the subtle invisible world. Science is based on the gross elements, that is, ether, air, fire, water, and earth. Spiritual science, on the other hand, deal with the supreme or the param elements, that is also called superluminal elements. Aliens and their aircrafts are made up of non-physical matter. We have a book, Our Alien Connection, described in detail about the same. Human mind consists of thought and power. Soul memory can be updated with the new knowledge and the power. Thus, souls can be transformed into supreme souls by obtaining this divine knowledge of Param Tattva and Param Light, that is divine radiance and supreme light. People cannot imagine the existence of supreme elements because they live in the world of elements, that is Tattvo ki Dunya. Scientists are now researching on the elemental composition and the origin of souls. But as their instruments are made up of gross elements, they do not succeed. Gross elements are always limited in power. Therefore, science in itself is limitation. On the other hand, spiritual science involves divine, that is alaukic, elements. Divine elements are the instruments of the three elements. They possess supreme elements with a supreme power. In other words, they are also called superluminal elements. The conversion of hydrogen into helium creates fire in the sun. The element of air is converted into fire element, into 5 elements. In the same way, the fire can be converted into supreme fire, that is Param Agni Tattva. They become instruments of supreme 5 elements. As recently, scientists experimented by colliding 2 protons to create God particle. It is also supreme fire, not the supreme light, the Param Prakash. Scientists are trying to develop scientific instruments with the divine or the spiritual powers. If this is done, one can travel from one galaxy to another in a moment. Spiritual science is developing and such experiments are made. In South India, a scientist applied some chemical on 10 by 10 inch iron plate which generated 1 kilowatt of electricity. If one uses 10 plates, that is the 10 kilowatt or 20 kilowatt electricity can be generated for the use of every home. In spiritual science, there is a possibility of capturing electricity from the sky too. The other example, pyramids are the powerhouses which bring down the electricity from the ether element high above. You can also feel the energy from the pyramids. When you sit inside the pyramid, one receives the energy from the ether element. Energy can be generated in a home without the wires. That energy will be far more powerful than the electricity we get in our homes presently. Scientists are researching about the aliens too. Spiritual aliens are using instruments of supreme elements. When such instruments and equipments will be available on Earth, there will be no use of coal and other fuel. There will be a total change in the properties of electricity. There will be aeroplanes or UFOs with the divine energy that will carry the passengers from one galaxy to another in a moment. Distance between the two galaxies is 25 lakh light years. To reach Andromeda, at present, we would require 25 lakh years, but by traveling by such divine vehicles, the distance would be covered in a moment. Presently, even to reach Mars is a huge task. But with the instruments of supreme elements, there would be a complete change. As people before 100 years never imagined of TV and computers, smartphones or etc. The same is true for future. This will be visible and happen in the coming years. Now the scientists have made instruments that enable them to see gravity. Gravity of Earth spreads up to 200 kilometers. This layer of 200 kilometers around the Earth contains gravitational force or energy. These instruments display and reflect gravitational energy within this range. Now scientists are planning to make large UFOs operated by dark energy too. These instruments or the vehicles may be called instruments of anti-gravity. The word wormhole is used to indicate the way to travel from one galaxy to another. There are many wormholes in the space which are made of supreme elements. If one enters a wormhole, the huge distance can be covered in a second. Thus, we can say that spiritual science means supernatural vehicles. To understand spiritual science, we must understand the gross, that is lokic, supernatural, that is alaukic, and far beyond the supernatural is paralaukic energies. Presently in our world, there are not enough elements like water and pure air. Negative energy is rising continuously. Pollution is also increasing rapidly, making water, air, and food polluted and contaminated. How to change these elements is a big question. The only way is if we can change the gross elements into the supreme elements, there will be a complete transformation in all aspects. It is difficult to imagine the changes that can take place if the gross elements are changed into the supreme elements, that is superluminal elements. Bapuji says that Almighty Authority himself is trying to bring about the transformation. Therefore, the transformation will be beyond our imaginations. It is true that on Earth there is increasing depletion of life energy, that is pran vayu. We have no pure air, pure water, pure food, etc. There are problems of scarcity of basic and fundamental necessities. The earth is not like that before. In Mrityulok, that is the world of death, there are boundless problems. Scientists think that in order to save the mankind in future, they will need to move to the other planets. They will have to find the way to reach there. If the planet is 25 light years away, even with the speed of light, one can reach the other planet in 25 years only. It is difficult to travel for 25 years as the atmosphere of the other planets would not be compatible with the physical composition of human body. Humans may get sick and face many other problems. Scientists are also discovering the correlation between time, space, and speed. The Kal Chakra, that is the cycle of time on the earth, is different from the other celestial layers like Bhulok, Bhuvurlok and Swarlok. One day in heaven, that is Swarglok, is equal to the 1 year on our planet. There is a difference in this because there is different correlation between time and speed in the different lokas. The 3 elemental bodies are less heavy than the 5 elemental bodies. The heavier the bodies, the more slowly the time moves. On earth, time moves fast. That is why 1 year on the earth is equal to the 1 day in the Swarglok, that is the heaven. Bapuji talked about time machine too. The time machine in which one can go back into the past or ahead in future. Here, time changes with the soul concerned. The world does not move from here, only the souls move in past or future. Time machine is possible only through spiritual science and not the gross physical science. Scientists will have to create time machine out of divine elements. When a person sits in that machine, his body of 5 elements will be transformed. Bapuji then referred to spiritual aliens, saying that the body of spiritual aliens consists of non-physical properties. These aliens inspire scientists to discover and invent new things. They enhance their intelligence and give them the creative thoughts. Spiritual science and the spiritual aliens will develop spiritual science by inspiring scientists to employ supernatural powers in equal ratio with the gross and the physical powers. Thus, they will be able to develop supernatural equipments and the vehicles. Bapuji says that the time machine will certainly come with the divine and spiritual powers. Ravan's chariot was the divine vehicle. During the battle, he often disappeared from the battlefield and nobody could see him. The divine vehicles are supernatural vehicles with the supernatural powers. When he sat on it, his body changed into supreme elements, and this gave him the power to fly. Body of 5 elements cannot fly. There are examples of such divine vehicles in the Mahabharata also. A demon who fought with a Krishna flew in his aircraft and threw laser-like fireballs on the Dwarka. These vehicles can be called spiritual UFOs. Supernatural aircraft runs on the energy of the supreme air, supreme Agni, that is fire, and the thought power. When it is not in use, it disappears and becomes invisible. In their conversation, Anant asked Bapuji about the power of mantras also, that is, the sacred utterances. Bapuji said that there are various gods and goddesses with different energy and different responsibilities. There are gods of air, fire, water, etc. There are different mantras to invoke different god and goddesses. When someone recites the mantras to invoke certain deities, they bestow supernatural powers to those who recite the mantras. Power of mantra means to gain supernatural powers. In the Mahabharata times, these supernatural powers and the aircraft were present, but along with the passage of time, these powers were used up and got depleted. As a result, these gods and goddesses turned into human beings. Spiritual science is an alaukik vigyan, that is supernatural science. When this science will develop, everything is going to change. The rays of sun will be transformed into supreme elements. The gross 5 elements will turn into the supreme elements. Gradually, all the elements will change. And there would be a complete change in the revolution. Therefore, all the knowledgeable people should meditate upon the Almighty Authority. They should listen to this divine knowledge. They will receive the power or the divine light during the meditation. Such people can attract the powers of supreme elements on this earth. And that will be ultimately change the working of science on the earth. Technology will change and there will be a complete development of the whole world. At present, the development of science is in the world of physical science. Physical science means the science of 5 elements, and the spiritual science is the science of supreme elements, in which all the vehicles, equipments and the tools will be of supreme elements. Now they are thinking of making an aircraft of helium and exploring the matter of gravity. They are also researching on the dark matter and the dark energy. Everything exists in the vacuum. When the gravity of the earth ends, the gravity of the sun starts. Sun's gravity vibrates around in the solar system, but when the sun's gravity is used up, there is some other energy in the space. Beyond the solar system, there are galaxies, and in a galaxy, the power of Mahashiv exists. The sun in the solar system exists due to the gravity power of the galaxy. When the gravity of sun ends, the gravity of galaxy starts. The gravity means the power. There are souls like the Shiv and Mahashiv with the power of supreme light. In future, there will be supernatural science when there will be able to a stage of multiple universes, paralokik science, that is the soul science, will develop. Then everything will change completely, and to travel from one universe to another will take only a minute. To understand this divine knowledge, one should meditate upon the absolute authority is very necessary. It is inevitable to burn off all the negative thoughts and actions and spread love and peace and happiness. With this, Bapuji explained, as the science will develop, our spiritual enlightenment and advancement will happen. Both will go hand in hand. But one day will come when our science will also look for divine and almighty authority, and the source of energy. Here we finish this chapter. We would request our viewers to please listen this divine knowledge and connect yourself with the Supreme Almighty Authority. You can also go in depth by reading Bapuji's new book releases, that is our Alien Connection and From the Heart of God, available in Kindle version and in the paper book format at Amazon. You can also visit our website www.discoveryofnewworld.com. Please, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe the channel. Thank you. Param Shanti.